So on today's video, I want to talk to you guys about what is the diet for guys over 40 who want to lose fat. And I busted out the whiteboard for this one because I think this one's going to be better served with the whiteboard, which I don't know if you guys can see it, but whatever. We're gonna do our best here. All right. So what is the best fat loss diet for guys over 40? We got three main things we're going to talk about. Before we do that, I want to show you my client Tony because we're going to use him as an example. All right, we're going to use him as an example because I want to show you. Let's see. Let's get this over here so you can see Tony. I want to show you some results from what I'm about to teach you, just as social proof. Because at the end of the day, social proof is how we build self-belief. Right? We see someone and we're like, okay, I can do that, right? If he did it, cool, I can do it. This is my client, Tony. This is his after photo. Let's go to his before. There we go. This is where he started. Now, Tony doesn't have a terrible build, right? He's not morbidly obese. He's just carrying too much body fat. He's probably in a 20-25% body fat range here. The lighting on his abs makes his abs look a little better. Without good lighting here, he looks, zero ab definition. This is after working with me. I'll show you some other shots here. This is from the side. So, not terrible once again, but I'd say he looks pretty darn good now. So let's see if I have any other pictures here. I think there we go. So, oh yeah, there's his back shot. There's his back. See the tattoo because I don't want you guys thinking it's fake. There we go. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today because I want to really show you what it takes to get there. So let's talk about the first thing. Maybe I should get a smaller whiteboard. What do you guys think in the comments? Should I get a smaller whiteboard? Let me know. Best fat loss diet. Number one, the C. What does the C stand for? Well, this is the first rule of all diets, okay? It's the first rule that all diets, whether they tell you or not, are trying to accomplish, all right? Oops, I wrote the wrong. All right, here we go. So we're live, just so you guys know. If you're watching this on replay, this is live, so there's no editing, guys. So here's the deal. This is rule number one, if you guys can see. Calorie deficit. Calorie deficit. All diets under the sun want to establish a calorie deficit. In fact, I wrote a whole book on diets. I'm sure you'll love the title. It's called Diets Suck. If you want a copy, you can just comment diet below this video and I will add you to our free community where you can get a copy of this book for free. All right. Free copy of my book. It's actually got a lot more than diet stuff in here. It's actually got 15 case studies of clients like Tony telling you exactly what they did, their workouts and all that fun stuff. So comment diet if you want that. But calorie deficit is the first thing. So I'm not here to bore you to tears telling you about a calorie deficit, but in layman's terms, you have to burn more calories than you eat long enough for your body to use fat as fuel to live, to survive. And eventually, when you lose enough fat, you get lean. All right. You get lean enough to see your abs. You get lean enough to see muscle definition. So the best diet helps you establish a calorie deficit. Now, we're going to talk about some strategies on how to do that today. All right. We'll start with the simple one, and that is we create a meal system. Okay. Not a meal plan. It's not one plan. You have a system. You have a rotation. You have multiple meals that add up to the calories that you specifically need to be in a calorie deficit. And you simply eat those meals all the time. And eventually, as time goes on, you lose body fat. Usually guys in my program lose about 1.5. Okay, so you can do the math on that. Hope you guys can still hear me. If you guys can still hear me, let me know in the comments. My mic's acting funky. But most of the guys who I work with lose 1 to 1.5, sometimes 2% body fat if they're carrying a lot of body fat, right? Like they're super, super heavy. They'll lose more. But that's the first way to do it. Just straight up lose fat consistently, establish a calorie deficit that you're just hitting day in and day out, right? Usually it's like 500 to 800 calories below your maintenance calorie level, right? So if you maintain your weight on 3,000 calories, then you eat 2,200 to 2,500 calories. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Let me make sure the mic is, we're going to go with mic. We're going to go to sure. Okay, hold on. Well, if you guys can still hear me, then I guess we're just going to keep going. It's a bummer that my mic is acting funky, but it is what it is. Let's see. All right, well, we're just going to keep it rolling, guys. We're just going to keep it rolling. As long as you guys can hear me, we're good. We're good. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to give you guys what you need, okay? Cool. We can hear you. Awesome. All right, so calorie deficit. What's the other way you can do calorie deficit? Well, I like fasting. Okay, fasting is also a really good way to create a bigger calorie deficit because you're just not eating food. So there's this alternate day fasting that a lot of our clients do. What Tony did is he actually cycled calories. So we had like 5 days in a row of pretty low calories, like not necessarily sustainable, like 1,000, 1,200 calories below his maintenance. But then on the weekends, because he's a dad and he wants to be able to eat more with his family, we upped his calories to be just below maintenance. Okay, so like 300 calories below maintenance. So going back to the 3,000 calorie deficit or 3,000 calorie example, what Tony did was Monday through Friday, he would eat about 1,800 calories. Okay, so he was losing fat quick. And then on the weekends, he would eat about 2,800 calories. Okay, so the average was somewhere in the 2,000s. But he really pushed it during the week when he could because that's motivating as well for a lot of guys, right? They want to see fast progress. But we run out of steam sometimes. We run out of steam because our lifestyle dictates that we eat more food, okay? So there's the calorie cycling way. But we got to get a calorie deficit in place, right? We have to. Now, we're going to bust out the whiteboard again. What's number 2? Anybody want to guess in the comments what number 2 is? What's number 2? It starts with a P because it's not just about calories, okay? It's not. If somebody says it's just calories, no, it's not just calories if you want to look good. Number 2 is protein, all right? 2 is protein. We got to get enough protein. When Tony came to me, he was making a couple mistakes, all right? If you're just joining the live, I showed pictures of my client, Tony. He's on the thumbnail of this video. But he was making a couple mistakes. The first mistake he was making was he thought it was just about eating clean. All right. Eat healthy food, I'll get in great shape. Cool. Not particularly accurate, but not a terrible idea. The second thing was he had no idea how much protein he was eating. I said, how much protein are you getting every day? No clue. No clue. So inside my book, when I talk about Diet Suck, if you want a free copy of this, just comment the word diet below and I'll send you a link to join our free coaching community. It's absolutely free, no strings attached. If you're looking for coaching, we will talk to you about that in there if it makes sense. But you'll get a copy of my book for free. You'll get a bunch of other exclusive trainings for free that I do outside off of YouTube. All right. But protein, if you don't know how much protein you're eating, I suggest you track protein for a period of time. I would say at least a few weeks. And how much protein should you be eating? Well, that's dependent on a lot of things. All right. Number 1 is how much body fat you carry. How much weight do you need to lose, right? And then what's your overall training activity look like? Do you lift consistently? And do you like protein? You know, some people struggle with getting protein. They just don't like it, right? It's real tough for people to eat a lot of protein. So we find a healthy balance, but most of the time, what I can tell you is most of our clients find success eating about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. Per pound of goal body weight, not current body weight. All right. So if you're 200 pounds and you want to be 150 pounds, then you would eat around 35 to 150 grams of protein per day. We want to feed the muscle. All right. We want to keep the muscle that you have. We don't need to eat a gram per pound of per pound of total body weight because we're trying to lose some of that weight. We're not trying to sustain all that weight. Okay. So that's the second P, but we got to get enough protein. So, we're going to talk about the 3 E's next. But if we get calories right and we get protein right, the rest of the stuff it doesn't matter as much because we got the big 2 things dialed in. All right. I'm not going to tell you got to have a certain number of carbs, a certain number of fats, because as we get older, I think the best bet is a balanced approach. I think as time goes on, you'll figure out what you prefer. But there's no magical diet that's all of a sudden going to get you shredded or ripped if you're not getting the protein and the calories right. I wish. But there is a system. Okay, there is a system, and I'm going to share that with you now. The 3E system. Okay, this one's going to be good. This is probably what you came for. Okay. By the way, in the comments below, let me know what is like your number one problem right now with your diet. Why are you struggling with your diet if you're struggling at all? What are you struggling with the most? Let me know in the comments, okay? While I write down the 3 E's. We got the first one. These are the 3 things that you have to have in place. Okay, I appreciate the patience as I'm writing down on my whiteboard here. Okay, this is the 3 E's. We got easy, we got enjoyable, and effective. Easy, enjoyable, and effective. Okay, easy, enjoyable, and effective. We got to check all these boxes. Let's talk about the first one, easy, right? As we get older, we got more on our plate. We got work. Obviously, for most of us, we got to work, right? I work with a lot of executives, a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people who have busy schedules. They need something easy, man. They can't be like, oh, I got to measure out every grain of rice every second of every day. It's not easy for a lot of guys to follow a lot of these diets out there. So it's got to be easy. Easy doesn't mean it's going to be effective though, right? So we have to look at the effectiveness of the diet. Is it working? Is it actually doing what you set out to do? Are you losing fat? Is it effective? Meaning, can you stick with it? Okay. Now, what's the third thing? Enjoyable. You got to like it, right? You got to like the food you eat. If you don't like the food you eat, man, good luck, right? Like food is meant to be enjoyed in some cases. It's not always meant to be enjoyed. You know, I don't need you waking up every day eating 3 or 4 meals that are just the best food you've ever had in your life. But at some level, you have to like the food. You know, it's like when our palate, our taste buds, our stomach, right? We're all sensitive to taste. We're sensitive to digestion. So if you're eating food that makes you feel like crap, well, that's not going to last very long. If you don't like the taste of anything, if you're gagging on your food, if you're like, oh, it's just so, it's so not appetizing, you know, then you're ultimately going to stop eating that way. Okay. So I see some comments come in, and we're going to talk about the difficulty of eating enough protein, but I appreciate the comments. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. So this is why I wrote my book, Diet Suck, because when I was 65 pounds overweight, and I was like my client, Tony, right, struggling to figure out nutrition, all the diets I kept trying to follow sucked, man. Like the diets I followed to try to lose weight, they were awful. You know, I did them all. I did the 6 meals a day. I did 8 meals a day at one point because I thought the more meals you eat, the faster your metabolism is going to go. Then I went to keto, right? I thought carbs were the problem. Then what else did I do? I stopped eating at night because I thought eating at night stored body fat. I said no to sugar. I said no to all good food because I was like, that's what I have to do. I thought that's what I had to do, right? Luckily, now we have better information. But there's still a lot of crappy diets out there. I have a lot of clients who come to me after following all sorts of diets. And they're like, dude, I followed this weird diet. It sucked. I hate my life. What do I do? And I said, well, you came to the right place. If you guys want this book, by the way, just comment the word diet below, even if you're watching on the replay. And I'll add you to our community where I'll give you the book for free. It's free. Free community, free book. Our goal is just to give you value, and when the time is right, when you're looking for a coach, we'll be the ones you call. All right, we're the guys you come to anyway after you've tried all the bad coaches. So, you know, when the time is right, we'll talk. But yeah, it's got to be easy. So what does easy mean? Well, number one, it's got to be meals you can put together very quickly. You know, it's got to be meals you can eat out, meals you can grab and go, meals that you can order from a meal prep service. It needs to be meals you can order at restaurants, meals that you can make at home quickly, throw it together, a few minutes, done. Doesn't need 20, different ingredients. Doesn't need to take 30 minutes to make a meal. Easy, okay? It's got to be effective. So effective isn't just about the weight on the scale coming down and the fat loss happening. It's about waking up every day and going, man, like I can see myself eating this way for a long period of time. In fact, I probably could see myself eating this way forever. That's the magical sauce right there, right? Because if you're like, I can eat this way forever, then you're not on a diet anymore. You're just on a lifestyle. Okay, that's the goal. And it has to be enjoyable, meaning you got to have some balance, all right? So like I have a rule every day. I eat something I enjoy at least once a day.
Like really enjoy it. It usually helps me hit my calories. It usually helps me hit my protein goal. But I don't purposely say no to eating something enjoyable once a day because I'm going to be more hardcore by doing that. I go out to eat a few times a week, usually once or twice with my wife, right? I say yes to birthday party pizza if I want it because I don't go to birthday parties every day, right? Occasionally, if it's the season that I am enjoying some wine, I'll have some wine. I don't drink a lot because I'm just personally not a fan. Makes me feel like crap, especially the next day, messes up my sleep. But it's not to say I don't enjoy some wine. I do enjoy it. I think it tastes good, right? White wine is my go-to. So anyway, I share all that with you guys because I don't want you to feel like getting in shape is a prison sentence. If anything, it's really, really, really enjoyable. Okay. So some of the questions that came in was like, it's difficult to get enough protein. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not that getting enough protein is difficult. It's just the way you're trying to do it is difficult. There's a lot of easy ways, easy supplements, easy resources to help you hit your protein goal. I talk about a lot of them in this book. So if you want a copy, just write the word diet. I'll add you to the group. But a couple things that easily pop to my mind is, having some liquid protein. All right, whether that's making a shake or having some ready to drink shakes at home, or when you're on the go, picking up a 42-gram protein shake from 7-Eleven. They are there. Just got to look in the fridge. They're there. Making a high protein content shake at your house with things like egg whites and whey protein and all sorts of stuff. Greek yogurt. I could eat 200 grams of protein in about 20 minutes if I had to. Like, it's not that hard when you have the right tools. I'm not saying you don't know, you're not doing things a certain way. I'm just saying how you're trying to do it. You're probably trying to get all your protein from real food, which is hard. Okay. If you're trying to eat meat and fish and all that stuff, it can be hard. It's not impossible, but it can be harder. And someone said, I'm overweight. I don't eat enough. I get full easy. I would disagree with you, sir. I would disagree with you. You're not overweight because you don't eat enough. You're overweight because you eat too much. What you're probably doing is you're sticking to a really good or a full type, a filling type of meal plan. And then you have times where you probably binge on food that's very, very easy to binge on. All right. I've never met someone who doesn't eat enough, and that's why they're overweight. And I've been at this for over 20 years. You're eating too much because you get full easily from eating good food, which is a good thing. You want to be full. You just got to eat the right amount of calories. All right. So that would be a situation where you have to look at your whole plan and figure out, like, what exactly are you eating? How much are you eating? And what do we need to do to change? All right. So my client, Tony, for those wondering, worked with me for a while. He actually got so ripped that he decided to jump into a men's physique contest. He never thought he would. He was like actually afraid of getting up in front of people, but he did it. Did some photo shoots with his kids. Like, just his whole life changed. Man, like one of my favorite clients I ever worked with. And, he started in the high 20s, body fat wise, got down below 10% at one point, but lives, most of the time around 10 to 12% now because of the stuff I'm teaching you guys. So there's no best, like, mainstream diet out there, carnivore, carb cycling, keto, all this stuff, right? I don't think any of them have actually told you exactly what you need to do. I hope this video does. But at the end of the day, what will ultimately decide, is it the perfect diet for you? If you're in your 40s, 50s, or older trying to lose fat, can you stick with it long enough to get the results you want? Right? Can you stick with it long enough to get the results you want? And then, most importantly, can you transition into maintaining those results for the rest of your life? And if the answers are yes to that, then you're on the right track. You are absolutely crushing it. You're on the right track. And I would encourage you to just simply keep going. And here's the deal. If you need more help, like, we have a book, but I also have a free community where I coach people for free every single week, every single day. We post helpful things in there. We have a lot of resources that so many to mention. I can't mention them all in this video. If you want access, you can comment the word diet or write the word team on this video, and I'll add you. I'll send you a link to join. It's free. And our hope and mission is that we establish a relationship with you, and when the time is right and you're ready to make a real change, you hire us and you join our program if we have spots. All right. and we work with you and we change your life like we did with Tony, who you see in the picture on the thumbnail of this video and the pictures I showed you in the beginning of this video. That's all I got. You guys have a great rest of your day. Life moves fast. Make it count. Peace.